Hi everyone, welcome to Kensington Market where we are sketching on location. We've chosen this cafe scene looking at the Augusta Fruit Market. This is part of the Toronto Urban Sketchers meetup. There was a number of sketchers all in Kensington Market one Sunday afternoon. It was a bit of a rainy afternoon, so I was inside for the first part, and you'll see there's a second sketch that I don't fully complete, but you'll see it in my sketchbook spread at the end. So like always, we're starting by measuring the view. I've used that umbrella stand as my basic unit, and I'm just roughing in very quickly in pencil a lot of the other sighting points, and then I'm going to go in with a fountain pen this time with waterproof ink and just get some lines down before adding my watercolor washes. So this is a new pen of mine actually. It is a Sailor Fude or Fude, I'm not sure of the pronunciation, but it has a nib that is bent. I think this one is at 55 degrees. So depending on how you hold it, you can get a finer or thicker line. And so I like it a lot. I'm still getting used to it, and I think there's a lot more potential to get more line variation than what I've achieved in this sketch. Now, if you do get or are interested in working with fountain pen and watercolor, it's taken me a while to find ink that works, but I have a platinum carbon black that that has proven to be color fast, doesn't smudge or mix with my watercolors. Apparently, you need to maintain your nibs, but I haven't had any issues yet with it. I've been sketching a lot this summer, so I actually have a backlog of sketches and scenes. So it's funny looking back, this was done at least a month ago, and there's a lot of things I would change. I think taking these watercolor lessons that I'm doing on Domestica is sort of changing how I approach things, and some of the styles where they, have a lot of line work and watercolor, I'm starting to not question, but I'm becoming more and more interested in watercolor, which I didn't expect. But this is, for lack of a better description, more or less I've drawn some lines and I'm trying to color in with watercolor. And I'm trying to develop a way where I hybridize the two so it's less setting out the entire drawing in pen and then coloring in. I want it to be more even between the two mediums and have it much more expressive in terms of the watercoloring. So getting a lot of water on the page seems to really activate that for me, just having the paint flow around. So you can see I'm a bit tentative with the water. And I find most exciting is when the paint is wet and then you're adding pigment into it. Kind of like this, although you can see it sort of blurs out and it isn't really much of anything. I think it's because now I'm reflecting real time. I think my brush had the same wetness as the page, and when the brush is drier with a lot of pigment and the page is wet, I find that's where some interesting things happen. Anyway, this is all a learning journey for me. I'm also experimenting with different brushes now. This is a synthetic brush, which is very precise, but it doesn't seem to break apart or dump pigment the way that I have a fake, I think it's fake squirrel, fur brush, and it really, I like the way it works. And then I have a flat brush that's also, I like for making marks rather than, you know, putting on the page and sort of moving around with the brush. I'm still trying to find a better technique for the splotches. I like the character it adds to the drawings. Just, I wish I could make bigger splotches. Maybe it's just a matter of actually making a mark with the brush instead of trying to flick it. And you can see with the foliage, there's some marks that I like when the brush is running out of ink and you get sort of the dry brush effect. I like that. And I'm trying to get more of that with the little liner brush that I have, but I ended up just sort of making it messy. I find my figures sometimes end up being a bit muddy, and I think I don't leave enough white, like that woman in the foreground. I do like the shadows, like the darker bit on the left and the inner leg, but I think if I'd left a bit more white, it would help it read more as a figure in the foreground rather than a blob of tone. And now adding some final marks for the foliage. And this is ultimately where I got to with this particular sketch. I started another one you can see on my left page of the spread, but didn't quite finish. And this is at the end of our Urban Sketchers sessions. There's a throwdown, everybody shares. Thanks so much for watching.